we have more stuff to yap about. This time, it's another instance of art tracing, but this is about Street Fighter fan art. So first off, don't send hate to any of the parties involved. We don't want to do this. The first post is posted by Orla or Lala Luca, who writes, not quote retweeting the tweet because I'm not giving a transphobic POS any engagement, but some of you follow this vile person. And it is a photo of an art piece that they posted from July 24th, 2025. So this is about Street Fighter. Personally, I don't play Street Fighter. I don't play fighting games. From my understanding, looking at the Street Fighter wiki, one of the characters involved is named Poison. In the wiki, Poison is referred to using she, her pronouns. There is a section about personality, appearance, and there's a section as well about, sorry, my big cat's in the way. This currently is what's going on my desk. I've got big fluffy cats. He's 14 pounds. About the gender of Poison. So here, where Street Fighter 4 says that the producer Yoshinori Ono states that, let's set the record straight, in North America, Poison is officially post-op transgender, but in Japan, she simply tucks her business away to look female. And that later, he declared her to be post-op in all regions for better ease on localization, and also stated that it's best to leave things up to the fans. And July 10th, 2014, Akira Nishitani said in a discussion on Twitter, in his personal view, Poison is a woman. So there is this debate here, but it looks like, according to the wiki, the general consensus seems to be that Poison's a woman. So we have this artwork posted by Ray Dash. The caption reads, not real woman versus not real human. And that is where the transphobia accusation is coming from. And then another commenter says it's even worse. And here we have screenshots of Ray responding, where Ray over and over keeps saying he's male, and somebody says not cool description, Poison is a real woman. Ray says, nah, he's a man. Yeah, that's not cool. Again, I personally don't play Street Fighter, so I'm not fully educated on the lore behind Poison. But if you read the wiki, right, like the wiki refers to Poison using she, her pronouns, it definitely feels like it's like a purpose intent to just kind of ignore it. Another commenter says, can I also mention that I've always had the fleeting suspicion that a lot of his art is traced, as in tracing official renders. I was second guessing myself before, but now I'm more convinced about this assumption. So that art piece has now been deleted, but that post was quote retweeted by a user by the name of Raito ADV, who says, please don't support Ray Dash's art. Not only is he a transphobe, but he also traces a lot of official art for his drawings. So here we have a side-by-side where you can see, looking a little similar. We have this post written by Raito who says, Iori's head is traced from this KOF13 art, and the body is a trace of his Neo Geo stance sprite. So here we have Ray Dash's art piece, and you can see it's looking quite similar. And then Raito adds, a lot of poses here are directly and lazily traced from official sprites. Notice how the suns and the gloves are plain circles in some of the bodies. And here, they just kind of line them up side by side, which I just think is really funny. It's literally like exactly the same. I think that part's wild. Raito adds, this one traces a lot of 3D renders and one Shinkiro artwork. I know it's a tribute of the iconic Street Fighter 2 artwork, but tracing is still tracing. So here we have Ray's artwork. Take a note of these two characters here, heavily referencing this render, and then Shinkiro's work, and then another render. What Raito says, more tracing. So that's another piece that Ray made. See, look at the head. It looks just to be like flipped. Another render. More pieces. And then this one, Raito just added like the overlay so you can kind of see the side by side. So if you take a look at all the characters here, and you can see the pieces that are really like traced. I think this one, honestly, you can do the biggest kind of one-to-one on this one. If you kind of stack them up like this, you can just kind of see that it's, oh, this head is this one. Really a big collage of traced pieces together in one piece. And they're almost one-to-one too, to where some of the pieces, like Chun-Li, are kind of like, were there really any liberties taken to make it look very different? Then Raito continues, this one was a commission, somebody paid for it. Here you have this piece, and then look at the character in the middle. Then Raito adds, this one I mentioned it a while back. Dude even lied saying he used action figures for references. This post by Raito is pretty damning. If you look at the GIF, these two are pretty one-to-one for the bodies. Low-key almost exactly so. And then Raito adds more tracing. Again, this piece made by Ray. And then Raito adds, and finally this one isn't tracing, but it straight up offended me because he tried to pass off a drawing with a mosaic filter as pixel art. Notice the uneven pixels and smooth borders. Pixel art requires effort, man. Yeah, you can look at the border here. Pixel art will never have a border this smooth because of the nature of how pixel art works. It would always be a little staggered. I just think that's honestly pretty funny though, out of the most egregious parts to be like, yeah, I swear, trust me, bro, and it's just not. There's also an allegation of a very inappropriate comic that Ray made, but according to Raito, the comic is now gone, but that people can vouch, including Raito. And another commenter adds, as somebody who dabbles in pixel art, this infuriates me too. I hate mosaic filters and dumb AI stuff that replaces pixel art. They've also attached some of their artwork, which is very pretty. Wow, very, very pretty. And yeah, this is pixel art, you know? That's what legitimate pixel art looks like. Yeah, Raven. Well, to be fair, like there's a lot of artists who don't trace. The thing is like it's just the ones that trace that kind of gets like, what do you call it, talked about more. So it seems like it happens a lot. A lot of like artists are very, very ethical and don't trace. So there's some commenters on Ray's side being like, I don't want to be that guy, but do we have proof it's tracing and not referencing? Pose referencing is common. And Raito adds, the thread is proof enough. I know the difference between pose referencing and actual tracing. I am an artist myself. Which I mean, I think this is the most damning one when you just look at this compilation. It's like find out your favorite celebrity did something illegal. Yeah, we have like the 3D renders being traced over here. Yeah, that's honestly what it is like. It's like, oh. Other commenters are saying, I knew something was up because they posted way too frequently. And other commenters are saying, I thought everybody knew that they traced because if you know the renders, you can spot it really quickly. And another commenter says, here's a take, but if a lot of your art consists of tracing official art, then you're not an artist. And that is something that I think sometimes gets debated as well. I feel like people sometimes debate the ethics of tracing official artwork, game official artwork, game sprites, whatever. The ethics. The art is still made by somebody. Official artwork published by a game was still made by an artist in that game studio who produced it, who made it. You still trace somebody's work. The only time really that tracing is okay is if it's your artwork, your photos, stuff that you have the rights to actually use in that way, or you directly receive permission from the artist to trace it. If you didn't, that just means you're tracing. I don't know what to say. That's if the shoe fits. I would love to hear your thoughts about the Ray Dash situation down below. There is a fair amount of evidence of tracing, but potentially, what are your thoughts on tracing if it happens with official artworks? Also, please be respectful in the comment sections below. I don't want to see any transphobia. And yeah, if you like the video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on VGen or Etsy. I sell digital art over there. I also have a coffee with free resources for streamers and creators. And I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope to catch you guys there or in another video.